Well. So, I watched episode 2 of The Last of Us. Now, let me give you a quick reminder. I thought episode 1 was okay. I thought it had its moments. For one, I think, and this might just be me, but those little things that they've been adding, like the beginning of episode 1 where they're talking about pandemics, and the guy's like, well, I think fungus is gonna be the more crazy one. He's more worried about that. Those things are beautifully done. They're so beautifully done that could be its own thing. It could be like its own show, like a show that focus on something like that, instead of trying to keep close to the narrative of The Last of Us. But that could be just me. Maybe people think this fits perfect in the world of The Last of Us. I personally think you don't need it in the Last of Us show. I think you can do your own thing with the show like that, with the fungus, just a show about that pandemic of the fungus. But that's just me. Now, episode 1, I thought it had moments where it was good, and I thought it had moments where it was just bad. And you guys can check out my video on that. Episode 2, again, those extra scenes that they're adding to try to give you a narrative of what happened around 2003, I think. Which this one picks up in Indonesia, and it's a lady eating like food at a restaurant. Cops come in, or government comes in, takes her to a lab, and they start investigating this fungus, and she sees a person, blah blah blah. That scene was badass. Then we quickly jump into the credits, and then we get back into The Last of Us. And the reason why I say we get back into The Last of Us, again, I think you can keep both things separate. I don't think The Last of Us needs that. But those extra scenes at the beginning, or the backstory, if you want to, for The Last of Us, they're so good that they're making the show worthwhile. Because I think if they didn't have that stuff, I wouldn't be watching it, to be very honest, because I feel like Pedro Pascal is under delivering as Joe. Let's be very honest. He's not delivering the lines like he should be. Troy Baker delivered those lines beautifully, and Pedro Pascal, to me, doesn't feel like he is. And I think he's an okay actor. And I thought that this was the right choice. I thought that guy would be perfect. Or the dude that's playing a Soldier Boy on the Boys, I thought he would have been good too. But now seeing Pedro and the way he's going about it with this character, it just feels flat to me. It just feels very flat to me. And I'm not liking it. Now, I'm not saying that the show is terrible, that this is a Velma show, that this is Rings of Power, or this is anything like that. No, I'm not saying that. It's just, I have big hopes. You have big expectations. This is perfectly fine for anybody that never played the games, that never touched those games. This is perfectly fine for them, because they don't know how beautiful of an acting chop they did in those games. And there's just so many things wrong with this episode that I can try to break it down, but it'd be too long of a video. There's some scenes where in the video game it takes forever to them to get to a certain spot, and here, like that, they get there real quick. And again, it just doesn't work for me. Now, that could just be me nitpicking certain parts right there. There's certain parts where they get into a building and they're basically just, it's like a outlook just to see if there's something over there, and then they're like, oh yeah, there's too many of them over there, let's go the other way. Which I'm like, wait, if that was your only way, it wasn't like their only way, but if that was the only reason why you were going up there, you should have already went the other way, because you're wasting too much precious time. Again, that could have just been me. The whole thing about that they can hear noises. They said that they can hear noises. Now, in the video game, they can hear noises, but you can walk around and you can do certain things and it wouldn't attract so many of them. And in the video game, they have the military basically chasing them. And here, when we get to the very end of this episode, they changed that, and I think they made it worse. But again, that's just me. That could just be me. There's certain things here, the dialogue just doesn't feel right, doesn't feel perfect, feels flat again. But hey, that could have just been me again. So when they go into this building, I guess it's like a museum. And they go into this building and they notice that, well, there's no way around either way. And one of the buildings is like, it's still there, but it's like really close to the other building, so you can't go through it because they're trying to get through the other side. On the other side, on the left, I believe, there's a building that crumbled down. They're trying to get to the roof to get over to the other side. For what reason are they trying to do that? I forgot, but I don't think it makes sense, because you could have just gone through the one that fell down and get on top of the roof, because from what it showed in the building, from the outside of the building, it looked like it was infested by clickers, or at least it was. They go in, they're walking around, kind of making a little bit of noise, and then they find a dead body. And Joe and Tez are looking at each other like, oh shit, clickers did this. But the wounds that you see on them, on the body, doesn't look like clickers would do this. It looks like it's somebody, like a baseball bat or something like that. So it feels just like weird. This is people that have been doing this for 20 plus years. But okay, maybe that's just me nitpicking. They go up the stairs and they make a little bit of noise. They say that if you crush the roots of the fungus, that it can send like waves to the clickers. Okay, but the fungus that they stepped on was like dead fungus. So I guess they're expecting no clickers to be there, because it looks like the fungus has been dead for a while. Well, they're walking and walking and walking. They go into this one room and well. There are two clickers. Now, I think the clickers look good. I think the way the movement that they have look good. The speed that they're running at looks good. And the way that the noise the people make, it's good. It's just like in the video games to me. Now, I only play the first one. I haven't played part 2. I think it looks good. Where I have a problem is when they all three are there together in one spot. What's the girl's name? She makes a noise. Joe had enough time to raise up the gun and shoot the clicker in the head. But this dude is shooting on the shoulders in the area. So I guess they don't know how to kill these things. I guess they don't know. Though there's a couple commotions, couple scenes. Then we get to the very end where they're coming out, they get out, they kill the clickers. Joe shoots like 12 rounds of a pistol. Shoots 12 rounds. So either he has a lot of ammo, or this dude's already running out of ammo, because he shot 6 times inside. Then when he finally killed it, shot all his extra rounds he had. So either he's already out of ammo for that gun or something. and then with the other gun, he shot at least, I would say, 6 or 7. So I don't know how many bullets he still has on that. Well, again, that could just be me nitpicking, but in the video game they make it very exclusive where you can make it where ammo is really easy to get or it's very hard to get. It just depends on how you play it. This show, I don't know how they're gonna do that. Well, we get to this other scene and the spot that they were gonna go meet up these people at. They were gonna meet up these fireflies. They were noticing that there's nobody there. Then they walk up to the truck and they see bullet holes, which makes no sense how those bullet holes got there. And there's blood everywhere, and it looks like they were either attacked by fungus or by other people. They go inside the building, or at least Tess goes inside, I think. And yeah, they're inside the building. And what's her name? Tess is like looking for people. She's like, oh, what's going on? Because now we, as the people that play the game, we know she's been. So she in the video game, she is like that. She's where she wants to find these guys. She wants to continue because she knows the end is very near for her. And Joe's like, basically like, well, this is done. There's no point of this continuing. She's like, no, I need this. There's nothing left for me. I have nothing left. And again, I felt like the dialogue wasn't hit right, because in the video game, when that dialogue's happening, when they're talking like that, you feel it. You get emotional too, because you feel like you've been invested in these characters for so long. Even if Tess was there for a very little bit, you feel connected to her. And the girl's like, oh, she's been bitten. Which in the video game, they do that too. But it just feels better in the video game, the way it's handled. And you see the mark, and Pedro's reaction feels flat. It just feels flat. Troy Baker gave it very emotional take. And then she's like, no, you gotta continue, you gotta do this for me, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And Pedro's just like he doesn't know what he's doing. In the game, he's like, damn. Because he knows, he's like, God, man, all this is for doing this is what happens. And Tess starts freaking out. She starts throwing stuff out because I guess they made some noise, and there's like a herd of clickers like around the corner somewhere over there, and they're basically running to come get her. And she's like, you gotta go, you gotta finish this, do it for me, blah, blah, blah. You can save us, or something like that, she said. And so there's like these big old barrels of gasoline. She drops them down, throws grenades there, and Joe is just staring, not knowing what to do. And then finally it clicks in him, grabs the girl, starts dragging her, and she's freaking out. I thought that was okay. I think you could have done more emotional stuff, so it could have been more emotional for the people watching it. I didn't feel the emotional towards Tess and the TV. But in the video game, when you see it, you're like, holy shit, man. Holy shit. And that, in the TV show, it just felt very flat. But okay, now we know that Tess is dead and everything, because what happens is, like I said, she drops all those barrels, so there's a lot of gasoline going everywhere, and then she throws some grenades on the ground, and here comes the clickers. They're coming in. They're running. It's like they can't even see her. But then all of a sudden, one clicker, she's over here struggling, trying to start a match with 2 fingers, over here struggling to start a match, lighter. And one clicker just stops, looks at her. She stops, looks at him, and then he's coming up to her slowly and slowly, and she's still trying to get this thing. Then the clicker like basically pins her to like this wall. I think it was a wall, and goes in and starts like his fungus starts coming out of the mouth, and then they start kissing. Basically, they start kissing. I don't care what anyone says, they start kissing, which was weird. It was just weird. Like, you didn't need that. That made no sense at all. And then, after struggling with this lighter with 2 hands, she couldn't get it with 2 hands, while she's getting tongued out by this fungus clicker, she gets it with 1 hand. She gets it, drops it down. Joe and Ellie are already out of the building. I don't know what happened to all those clickers. And then boom, we see a big explosion. Joe turns around with the gun, and they see the big explosion. They're checking to see if any clickers got out, I guess. And basically that's the episode. Man, this is 16 minutes long. God, again, guys, I don't know what else they could have done, but it just didn't feel right. In the video game, the military's after them. They come in and Tess, instead of fighting clickers off, she gets multiple military down, and then finally they get her, and then you're running, and you get away. And for some reason they decided to change that with the clickers, and I guess this episode was directed by Neil Druckmann, the writer, I guess, director. Again, I don't know what was the point of the kiss. It made no sense. I thought episode 1 was okay. I gave it a 6 out of 5, where to me that's okay, decent enough. This one, you guys might think I'm just fucking nitpicking or just being a hater. I'll be very honest. This was a 3 out of 10. I think the only reason why I even gave it any points was because of that beginning stuff with the lady and stuff like that. But again, I feel like you don't need that for The Last of Us. That could be its own show. But because they have this in the show, it works for me. It makes me more intrigued because I want to know what they did in 2003. But like I said, that could have been its own show instead of connected with The Last of Us. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just nitpicking too much and not enjoying it. I like I said, I think this is perfectly good for people that never played the game. This is perfectly fine. This is like The Walking Dead for them. This is perfect for that. But people that play the game, this show, some people might find it very good, probably incredible, but I think the ones that are really finding out the details and stuff like that, we can pick it apart and show you that, yeah, this is not that good. And this episode was not good. And remember this, guys, they only got 9 episodes for this show. So in 9 episodes, and we already are at 2, I believe. Yeah. We got 6. We got 7 more. 7 more coming. And they're already killed off Tess. So they're moving really fast. And I don't know, guys. I just feel like at the end of the day, when we finish this, we're probably not gonna be that hyped on it. I think you're still gonna get people that think this is a 10 out of 10, but in reality, this show is just a 5 out of 10. It's decent. You can find some enjoyment, but it's not the greatest adaptation of a video game. And that's just my opinion. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.